and welcome to January 2026, the monthly overview of transit. So, if you haven't met me before, I'm Jen. I do human design updates on transit and how you might be experiencing it. You can follow along if you are enjoying this and you'd like to experience more. So, let's go over January 2026. It is all about stability, inner truth, and a gentle re-entry into motion. It doesn't rush us forward. It asks us to listen, to really simplify and reconnect to what actually matters to us. This month opens with Gate 38 and 39 energy, which we already started a little bit in December. This is all about questioning struggle, provoking awareness around what is worth fighting for, and there's this movement through ambition and drive that's coming. And after that, there's inner truth and mystery. And after that, some limitations and structure. And then we're going to close the month out with what are our needs and where are we finding ourselves being a little bit more sensitive or needing to retreat and reflect. So this is a month of reevaluating why you push, clarifying what's ready to grow and what isn't, and accepting limitations or without any shame. It's really about letting the desire be quiet before it becomes really clear. So inside this space this month, we're not forcing momentum. We are stabilizing your nervous system, grounding you into the energy, and learning how to move through these transits instead of pushing up against them and struggling and not understanding why. So if you are interested, you can keep following along for gentle prompts and updates on a daily basis to help you notice the patterns throughout the month without pressure and help you get a little bit more emotional clarity, know when to rest, know when ambition is in, ground into visibility and work and your desire on your terms. And we also run a community that can help you kind of get into the flow of this energy with other people. So just to recap, January is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering yourself, setting realistic foundations, and letting your clarity arrive naturally. So if you're craving steadiness, honesty, and support that actually holds you, you're in the right place. Okay, so let's go over the month that is behind me and on your main screen. So we're starting here with the first, with some big energy. We have the emotional center and the heart center defined through the channel 3740, which is in the north node and south node, which I did a video on, I think it was about last week. So you can go back into the YouTube videos on the playlist and see that one, which is basically giving us a chance to see where we are connecting in the community, what we want to contribute to the community, and where we need to take a step back, focus more on our health, rest, recover, celebrate what we've done so far, that kind of thing. So we have that the entire month. So heart and emotional energy. That means that there's going to be an emotional wave in progress. Now, if you're in the Perfectly Balanced community on Mighty Networks, there is a emotional wave chart PDF. So if you want to reference what kind of wave this 4037 experience is, I highly recommend going into the Mighty Networks, searching in the search bar for emotional waves, and then you'll get the PDF pop up. And it'll show you not just the 4037, but the 59, 6, 1949, 39, 55, 41, 30, 35, 36, 12, 22, and what those waves create for us, the energy, how to utilize them, that kind of thing. All right. And if you're not in the Mighty Networks, that's free, by the way. So I'll put a link down below if you want to join the Mighty Networks and check out that PDF too. So we have that going on all month, but we're starting out this January with a clear direction and the ability to communicate about it. So we're talking about who we are. Gate 20 talking, Gate 10 about who we are. And that's just very early in the morning with the 20 in moon. So we're starting off there. And as we go through this 3839 experience, it's going to bring us some new things, some ways that we want to contribute and connect with people, a little bit of internal reflection and clarity, some maybe extreme changes, or really those extreme changes are ending up to create some balance in us. So sometimes we'll do like a cutoff of like not doing something anymore, take a little break, just to kind of bring it back into balance and bring that thing back in a healthy way. We're going to be really focused on who we are and how we're showing up in the community. And we're going to be having a little bit of struggle. This 38 brings a little bit of struggle, and the 39 brings us a little bit of provoking, to create some change and bring us back into our soul. So this is the energy of the first week here. And then on the 5th, we're going to change into 54 and 53. And 54 and 53 is like a new start, a new way to have relationships, a new way to transform our lives. And sometimes it's not always brand new. Sometimes it's just new way of doing the thing that we have been doing. So I like to call 53 begin or begin again, because sometimes it is the next layer of the beginning of something that we've already been doing. Okay, so we've got that going on the second week here. You're also going to notice here in the second week that we are changing Jupiter energy, and I'll be doing a video on the Jupiter change inside the community. So if you are in the community, that will be happening on the 5th. You'll get access to that Jupiter change. Okay, so the energy is gonna kind of really be in that beginning stages of something. But if you notice, we lose our connection to our G there. So for those of you who are undefined in the G center, where in the beginning, very early stages of January, you felt like you had some sort of direction, there's a chance where that's going to feel maybe a little bit wobbly. Like you're starting something, but you're not really sure where it's leading. So be okay with not having all the answers, or not having clarity, or going through an emotional process of figuring out what's correct for you over this time period. Okay, so then the next week, late night on the 10th, we're going to move into the 61 and 62. Now, the 61, 62 is trying to formulate some answers for us, trying to get us to tap into the universal principles of life and how they apply to us, trying to make sense of the details that were being provided. And I feel like this one is, for most of us, kind of like a sense of not trying to rush things necessarily, but trying to step back and gain some awareness of what's going on. And I'm pulling up my notes here for a second because I want to lay this out in a way that makes sense for you guys. But the thing that I really want you to take away here is that sometimes there is a pressure. There's a pressure to have the answers. There's a pressure to decide. There's a pressure to understand. And the beautifulness of being able to sit inside that pressure without having the answers is where the understanding comes. So this week is all about not taking action right away and more about understanding what's happening before we make the move. Now, the interesting part of this is that we are going to have the root to spleen center here during this time period. So not only is there a pressure to understand, but there's a pressure to take action. And what we want to get very clear on here is that taking action while you are confused is going to create a lot of mess. So there's that pressure needs to build. That root pressure needs to build over time until the right answer comes in at the right time. And then there'll be ease and there'll be flow and there'll be movement towards where you're trying to go and what you're creating. Okay? This is where a lot of people get hung up. I feel like a lot of people make New Year's resolutions with this idea of going to push through. And what they aren't aware of is week 2, week 3, somewhere in there in the transit each year is this pressure to take action without really understanding. And the New Year's resolutions kind of fall apart, or they are hard to stick around, or, we give up because there's so much struggle and there's so much pressure involved. So allowing that pressure to be there before you're necessarily committing to something, really understand what it is that you are trying to do and create, and then take the steps forward. So that's this week, okay? Just going to move through there, and it's going to be a really transformational week in that energy if we're allowing that clarity to come through, okay? And then we move to 60 and 56. Now, those of you who've been with me for a really long time know that we were in Pluto in 60 for such a long time. There was so much limitation. There was so much desire to break free of the limitations that we were enduring for a very long time. So I know that there's a little bit of, I would say, struggle coming back in for those who don't naturally have 60 to then experience it again. But this round of 60 is really, really supported with the energy that's coming through. Because what it's doing is it is slowing us down in a way of protecting us, not a way of pushing to see if you will commit to something. It's really protecting our energy. It's protecting the contributions that we're giving. It's protecting our energy, our bodies, our physical bodies. And so what it's doing is it is helping us say no out of a form of self-respect, helping us tell a story about our no's that are keeping us from pushing past our limits that aren't healthy for us. So this is going to be a really supportive week of saying no to things that aren't helping us thrive. Okay? And then we're moving into 22, or moving into 41 on the 22nd. So the 22nd, or the end of the 21st at night, beginning of the 22nd, this 41 energy is actually the start codon of the transitory process. in human design. So 41 is the energy that has us kind of soften after going through struggle and changes and, boundaries and clearing space. This 41 is really going to help us clear the way for our desires, to gather what needs to be gathered in order to move forward. And this one is the energy which feels like your desires and your dreams and your future are worth moving towards. So we stop fighting all the meaningless battles here and really start moving with intention in this energy. Okay. And then we're going to finish up January in 19 and 33. And this energy this week, this one is going to be one where we take a step back from everything that we've done. We start assessing our first month of the new year. We understand the struggle that we went through, the pressure to take action, the clarity that all of that brought, the things that we needed to say no to, and how they cleared the way for the new things and what we desire to come in. And in that, we're going to start delegating our resources to that desire. We're going to start really taking a step back from necessarily putting our energy and our time and our resources into whatever might work, and start putting them into our intentions and our desires. Okay. And then I'll also in the community be going over the Saturn change from 36 to 25. So if you're interested in that energy dynamic, which is a huge energetic change that's coming in, I will be posting that on the 27th inside the community as well. All right. So that is the energy for this month. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys around, giving you guys daily updates, helping you move through the energy, helping you understand what's going on so it makes it easier to make decisions, to move forward, and to put your energy where it wants to go. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you later. If you've been hearing me talk about the Perfectly Balanced community and been interested in it, there's a free option, there's a paid option if you want to dive in deeper to transits and how they connect with your chart. There is another paid option where you can do a self-study and go deep into your unique human design chart. There's a lot of options, but in the free one, you're going to get all of the updates that I've been talking about, as well as some easy to read information about what's going on in transit. Some affirmation reminders, some intentions, some energy check-ins, and even some journal prompts to help you recap the energy of the day. So if you're interested, feel free to join us. I'll put the link below so you can check that out, and I'll see you there.